is you grab a magnifying glass, right? You grab your little magnifying glass, okay? And I'm going to start at this end just to see. And then we'll see if it'll focus for you guys. Oh, it's too tiny. Maybe this guy. Oh, it's too tiny for you. Okay. But although you guys can't see it, which is very disappointing, at this tip, I'm seeing a teeny tiny microscopic opening. Literally right there. It's the pin size. It's, if it'll focus, that would be great. No, here, let me see if I can zoom in some other way. Okay, so you guys might, you're not going to be able to see it, unfortunately, but right there is a teeny tiny hole. It's a teeny tiny opening, and surrounding it are 3 little lips. Okay, so 3 little, lips. 3 little lips, 3 little flaps of skin, and it's super, great. It's super teeny tiny. You guys can't see it, but like I said, it's there. Okay, so I know that because this little opening is surrounded by 3 lips, that is actually the mouth, which means the mouth is in the anterior portion. So this must be the posterior portion. Okay, so let me just adjust this again. Okay, perfect. So now that we've settled that, I'm going to keep the anterior over here and the posterior over here so I don't get confused. So as you can tell, this thing's pretty shiny, right? You can say, well, it's wet, Miss Morales, and I'll just dry it off. Not wet anymore, okay? But it's still really shiny. So that shiny coat you're seeing is called a cuticle, okay? Plants have it, but plants have a whole different type of cuticle. They serve the same purpose or similar purpose. Okay, so the cuticle, what it does is it runs along the entire body. Okay, it's made of collagen. So if you've ever seen one of those commercials that's talking about, is your face falling? Do you have wrinkles? You need this collagen cream. Same exact stuff. Okay, so we have collagen. It helps our skin sort of bounce back. But for them, their collagen, their cuticle, that's made of collagen. Covers the entire body, and it helps them sort of protect from the elements. Okay, so these happen to be parasitic, so these are inside of your intestine, and in your intestine the pH can get really low. It can get pretty basic, or I guess really high. It can get really basic. So they need protection from those sort of conditions, and this cuticle definitely helps them with that. Okay, so now that we know this is our anteriors, this is our anterior end and this is our posterior end, we're going to try to look for our lines. So as you'll notice in a lot of animals that are higher up, they tend to have these lines. Okay, they help them with a few different things. So we're going to look for 4 lines. Okay. There's 4 longitudinal, which means that they run all the way down the body. The first one is the ventral line. So the first thing I'm going to try to do is figure out which side is ventral, right? So here's anterior, here's posterior. I'm trying to figure out if this side that's up right now is ventral or dorsal. So I'm going to look at the lips for that. If I look at the lips, it has 2 on this side and 1, it has 2 on this side and 1 on this side. So 2 on the side that's up now and 1 on the side that's down. So these are actually perfect. It's actually set how it's supposed to be. So this is the dorsal side, the side that's up, and the side that's down is the ventral side, which is exactly what we needed. So perfect. Okay, now that we have that, I'm going to go ahead and leave the female alone for a second now that we have her oriented. And I'm going to go ahead and grab the male. Okay, it has the exact same things. Okay, so it's going to have its posterior, it's going to have its anterior, it's going to have the 3 little lips, which are super impossible to see for you guys. I'm over here with my little magnifying glass. Okay, but yeah, it's definitely its anterior portion. Okay, and then you have its little hook right there. Okay, so right here in its little hook, the reason why it's different from a female's is because this is actually its genital portion. So when it's having sex, it uses this. And at the tip, you'll see a tiny opening also, or you can't, but there is a teeny tiny needle point opening right there. Okay, and it uses that little opening for both sperm ejaculation and for excretion of waste, aka poop, right? So it uses the same opening, and you'll actually find that with a lot of mid-evolutionary animals, that they use one opening for about the same thing. So in roundworms and nematodes, you're going to find that the opening for sexual intercourse in males is also the same opening that they use to poop, to get rid of that excrement. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put it off to the side again, back here, away from the spotlight. Okay, and let's open her up. So first thing I'm going to do is make sure that her ventral side is up, which is exactly not what I have. Oh, I have to make sure her dorsal side is up. Okay, so her dorsal side is up, ventral side is down. Okay, and I'm going to grab my handy dandy scalpel. Okay, now these scalpels, like I said, they're not super sharp. So when you make incisions, you have to press down, but don't press down like that. Kind of just put a little effort into it. Don't just, right? You want to put a little push and pull. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do right here. Now that they know that the dorsal side is up, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, before I do that actually, I'm going to take my handy dandy pins. And I'm going to take 2 pins and I'm going to pin that part down. And I'm going to stretch this a little bit. And I'm going to pin that, that side down right there. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my little scalpel. And I'm going to start at the posterior. And I'm going to just very carefully, okay, start kind of cutting into it. Okay, oh, so I didn't quite, and that's one other thing you got to be careful with. See, I kind of ripped that open. So I'm going to push that guy back in there and hope that he stays. He didn't stay, y'all. So I'm going to hold this down with a finger because that's just ripping through it. Okay, and I've cut it, and now I'm just gonna hold this down and in little jerking motions, okay, kind of a back and forth like I'm cutting into something, which I mean I am, but you know, cutting into it. Okay, I'm gonna try my best to not rip this guy anymore. Okay, this is where it gets a little tricky. Okay, I'm gonna peel back the skin. I'm gonna take this guy. I'm gonna pin it right there. Okay, so you can start seeing that it's opening. You can see that it's open. There it is. Okay, you can see that it's open right here. And I'm gonna just take my scalpel and I'm gonna keep with a gentle back and forth. Okay, gentle back and forth. Because again, these are not that sharp, and they are not sharp for a reason, because if you slip, I don't want you guys to hurt yourself. Okay? Ooh, there we go. Okay. So kind of gonna go back, and there we go. Okay. So once